So I've noticed that a lot of you, when you're swimming, there's definitely shoulder lack of range of movement. So this is going to really help develop your swimming just by developing a few stretches to your routine to increase your shoulder flexibility and your lat flexibility. So the lats are the big muscles in your back here. Obviously shoulders are very important, but also the chest and the biceps and triceps all contribute to how you can reach. Now I actually go to sleep and my arms sometimes are like this in the morning. And I have to unhook my arm because it's dead, because it's been above my head all night. But that is quite a comfortable position for me. And I've noticed that some people, when they're pushing off from the wall, they're here. So they can't get that extension and reach through the shoulders. See how tight my arms are behind my ears? So that's really good tension there. Flexibility is the word I'm looking for. So how do we start? What we're going to do first? So we need to warm up before we start doing any kind of shoulder and chest stretches. So the first thing we're going to do is shoulder swings. So you should do this before you do any swim exercise anyway, but it's a really good way for stretching your upper body. And today we're going to go through a few stretches which are working all these key areas, but you might not have seen some of these stretches before, so stick with it. So the first thing we're going to do is 10 swings forwards with the arms nice and big. As big a range of movement as you can. When you've done 10, we're going to go backwards once again, nice and big. As big a range of movement as you can. And now we're going to try a little bit of a coordination exercise. We're going to do one backwards, one forwards. So it's like that. Once again, 10 each way. And the other way. Excellent. So the next one we're going to do shoulder slaps. So that is really slapping the backs of your shoulders with your hands. It's using dynamic and kind of momentum. So it's a really good exercise to do before swimming. So I just lean forward slightly from the hips, knees bent, and you're slapping the back of your shoulders. Try and alternate the arms. And then once again, 10. So for some people, this might not feel like anything, but for others, this might feel like quite a big stretch. And now, staying in the same position, we're going to do arms circles, shoulder circles. So like a figure of 8. And what this is doing is it's mobilizing the muscles of the shoulder in 2 different planes of direction. So it's a really good exercise to do. So a figure of 8 movement. We're going to do that with the other arm as well. Off we go. So once again, about 10 exercises. Keep the arm as straight as possible. Nice big 8 shape. Excellent. Okay, so your arms should be feeling quite nice and loose. So what stretches are we going to do first? So first stretch we're going to do is a lat stretch, and we're going to use a door frame. So we're using a door frame as an aid. You can obviously use any kind of wall, but what you want is your elbow to be the same height as your shoulder, and you literally put your elbow onto the door frame and you're twisting away from the door frame. You should feel a nice big stretch across the chest here. You should hold each stretch for up to 30 seconds. Now we're changing the angle of the shoulder, the angle of the elbow to the shoulder. You'll get a stretch in different areas, so try that as well. So don't just fix it at 90 degrees, try higher, and you could even try lower, and you'll find it stretches different parts. So we're going to do a lat stretch. So this isn't technically a lat stretch, this is a chest stretch. So the lat stretch we're going to do is coming up now. Obviously do both sides. So the lat stretch, I want you to put your elbow nice and high on the door frame, and I want you to lean into it. You see what I'm doing here? So stretching down the side here, so you're leaning into that door frame, and that's going to really stretch out the lats. Now this is really important for a lot of you to do, because definitely it's restricting your swimming, and the more flexible you are in swimming, A, you're less likely to get injured, but B, it's going to help your range of movement, and you'll have more power through a greater range of movement, so you'll swim better. So it's a really good deep stretch into the lats there. This next stretch, I want you to be on your knees. If you're on your toes behind you as well, that's quite a comfortable position. So you're going to get a quad stretch. You're also stretching out the ankles and the toes. Put your hands behind your head, interlock your fingers, and I want you to keep your elbows fairly close. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to lean forwards just by curling the upper back, and then as you come back upright, you're expanding your chest outwards, slight lean back, and we're going to repeat that 4 or 5 times. It's a really good way of opening up the chest, stretching the back out. The next stretch is a downward dog. So bend your knees, get your hands to the floor, and then we're pushing up through the heels into that downward dog position. So you're in a V shape. I want you to try push your chin to your chest, really push through the shoulders. Also try and force the heels down. Some of you might be a bit higher, some of you might be able to get your heels right down to the floor. And you can actually pedal your legs as well. Get a big, deeper stretch through the Achilles, but really this is a great shoulder workout as well as a calf workout. And then return to your knees, and we're going to go into cat stretch. Suck the belly in, arch the back upwards, and then sag the back down, bring the head up. This is called the cow position, I believe, in yoga. And we're going to repeat that again. Suck the back up, and back into the cow, and then back into downward dog. So up we go again. Really push through the shoulders. Try and push those heels down. You want to be able to hold these stretches for about 30 seconds. And relax. Okay, so this stretch is a shoulder stretch. So we're going to be lying face down, and we're going to thread one arm through, so the palm is facing upwards. You're lying face down on the mat, lying totally prone, and try and get this shoulder onto this arm. So that is quite an intense shoulder stretch. Obviously, if you're not comfortable, if that's too uncomfortable, just sit up a bit. That'll still be a sufficient stretch. As you breathe out, try and push the other shoulder further down. Once again, hold for about 30 seconds. Okay, and repeat with the other arm. So you might find one side is a bit tighter than the other. And once you've done that stretch each side, come back to the prone position. Okay, lie down flat, and we're trying to lift this arm up towards the ceiling. You're getting a good stretch in the chest. And repeat the other side. Okay, so this next stretch, you will need a bit of space on the floor. So I want you to lie on your side, bend your knees in front of you like so. Put one arm shoulder height out in front of you, and with this top arm I want you to reach over the hand, relax the head on the floor, and you're doing a big circle. Try and keep your hand on the floor, right round, and then bring it back, keeping the hand on the floor. I'm going to do it 3 times each side. So that's 1. Really stretch, reach. 2. 3, and repeat. To develop more rotation in your shoulders, let's lie face down. Okay, your hands need to be just above your head. Your elbows need to be bent 90 degrees, looking down, and just rotate your fists backwards. And we want to do 4 or 5 upward rotations. Another great exercise for increasing range of movement. Lie face down, arms above your head like Superman, and we're just going to turn the thumbs upwards and lift the arms up and down. You can extend slightly out into a Y shape and do up and down again. And you can go out to the side into a T shape and go up and down again. So it's IYT, that's what it's known as. So I above your head 5 times. A Y out to the sides 5 times. And a T out to the side. Knuckles up 5 times. Stretch is going to stretch out your lats and your shoulders. So kneeling down, put your elbows onto a raised object like a small table and drop your head below your shoulders. You should feel a really big stretch into your shoulders and into your lats. Try and sit back with your bottom towards your heels and hold that for up to 30 seconds. If that's too much, obviously just come up slightly. So you could obviously do this one-handed as well. It's a set twist in your thoracic as well, thoracic spine. Change arms. So this is a tricep stretch. We're going to raise one arm above the head, drop at the elbow behind our head. Going to reach for the elbow and pushing the head back and try and pull this hand down the spine. Now, this might be quite hard for some people. You might find it really stretching in the shoulder, but it's important to try and keep the head pushed back. Now, that might be enough for some people. Also, you could stretch over to the side and get a further stretch down your lat as well as your tricep and your shoulder. Now, you could also use a towel rolled up as a sausage. So you hold it in the upper hand and you try and reach it with the lower hand and you pull it down. So that might be another option for you, pushing the head back into the elbow down with the towel. Another great exercise you could try and do is to do a prayer position behind your back. So this is good for wrist flexibility as well. So you're putting your hands up your spine, trying to get the palms of both hands together and into that prayer position. Try and really push the chest forwards, and you'll find a nice deep stretch into the chest and shoulders.